everyone, it's Sarah, and today I will be doing the unpopular opinion book tag. I am just going to start with the disclaimer that if you are easily offended and you hold your favorite books very, very close to your heart and you don't want them to be bashed one single bit, I would say maybe avoid this video at all costs, because that'll save me some hate mail and you from having to send hate mail. So I think it just works out for everyone. I know I'm late to the party on this one. It's quite an old tag. It is from like the winter, maybe the spring, I think, maybe earlier than that. But I finally decided to do it. This tag was created by The Book Archer, and I will leave their link down below in the doobly-doo. So yeah, let's get started. Number 1 is a popular book or series that you don't like. For this one, I picked Looking for Alaska by John Green. I've heard this a lot around Goodreads and BookTube, that it is the favorite of a lot of John Green lovers. They kind of, toss aside the rest of his books and hold Looking for Alaska up on a pedestal, and I just didn't like it. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, and that was being extremely generous. That was only because I really enjoyed the male character, but I think the way that John Green wrote Alaska was very one-dimensional and very borderline manic pixie dream girl. Not quite, but she was kind of on the cusp of that. And this book, I kind of knew what was going to happen like 20 pages into this book before it happened at all. I mean, it's supposed to be like kind of like a big shocker in the middle of the book or whatever. It's split up into before and after, and I just found it so incredibly predictable. I could figure out what was happening right away. As soon as they introduced Alaska, I knew what was going to happen. She's all like, oh, I hate this, I hate that, and I'm so emotionally grown up for my age, and blah, 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 I'm so different, and look at all these weird things I'm interested in and everything, and I just, I hate that. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. She was so defined by her quirky interests rather than anything else, and I think she is the worst female character that John Green has ever written, and she is probably the main reason I hate this book, but overall, I didn't like it at all either. Didn't like the twist in the middle because I knew it was coming. Absolutely 110%. It wasn't spoiled for me even. I could just tell by reading it. So I really don't like this book one bit at all. This will be the first of 2 very, very, very unpopular opinions that I reveal to you today. And this is a popular book that everyone hates, but you love. Now, I completely understand why people hate this book, and I know in the depths of my heart that I should hate this book because there is just cover to cover, the entire series, there's so much wrong with it, and there's almost nothing to love, but I love it. And that is the Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer. I do not think the characters are written very well. I do not think Edward and Bella have a healthy relationship one bit. I do not like any of the background characters. I do not like how things are described, but I just keep coming back to it. I love the books. I love the movies. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's kind of like it came out when I was in the 9th grade, and I was the kind of person who would really like Twilight back then, and I did, and I was obsessed with it. It was like the first book series that I was really obsessed with, and I knew everything about it, and I read it like 14 times, and I've seen the movies over and over again, and I still watch the movies over and over again. So I think it's mostly like just embedded in my brain as like a piece of nostalgia that I can't get rid of, and I know I should get rid of, but I just can't. And it's just in here. It's just in my brain, and I love it. And I know please don't tell me all the reasons I should hate it, because I know all the reasons I should hate it. It is such an unhealthy relationship, such an unhealthy depiction of love. I mean, Bella is just not even a character. She barely exists. She has no interest. She has no qualities at all, except like she's just horrible. I mean, they're all horrible. There's not a single good character in that book. I mean, Charlie's funny, but I know I should hate it, but I just don't, okay? Just deal with it. That's that. Number 3 is a love triangle or a couple that I don't agree with. I didn't come up with one for this because I don't know. I don't read a lot of young adult, and I find that's where most of the relationship, love triangle kind of focus literature is. And I don't really find a lot of that in the books that I read. And if I do, I don't really care about it. It's not the focus of it. If I come across a love triangle in a book, I don't really pay attention to it. And if there were a book with the love triangle as the centerpiece, I wouldn't read it, or I would put it down because I have absolutely no interest in love triangles, because I think there's so much more to explore in literature, and I don't think they're important at all, and they contribute nothing to a book at all. Number 4 is a popular genre that I don't usually reach for. This one was super easy for me. You might think it's YA, but I actually read more YA than I do fantasy. I just don't have any interest in fantasy, really. If I want a escapist book, I usually go science fiction over fantasy. I don't know, I find there's like too much fluff in fantasy. It's too based on world building, and that's sometimes the rest of it can really lack because it is so based on world building. So I don't really go for it too much. I find that they're always very just overly dense and just overly everything. I think a fantasy book can get out of hand really quick, whereas you pick up a good sci-fi book and there's the right amount of world building and character development and plot crisis. And I just find that that's much better substitute for me for escapism in novels than fantasy is. So I generally don't reach for fantasy novels, but even if I do pick one up, I generally don't tend to like them. Number 5 is a popular beloved character that I don't like. And again, I feel like this tag is revolved a lot around like YA type of problems, because I find that in adult literature there's not a lot of character problems. I think they're written better, and it's kind of hard to have like a problematic fave. So for this one, I just reverted back to looking for Alaska and blah, blah, blah. I just hate Alaska. I hate her, hate her, hate her. I could talk all day about how much I hate Alaska. Maybe I'll do a video about it, but I just don't like her at all. Next, I've talked about this one before, but it's a popular author that you can't get into, and for me, this is George R.R. Martin. Again, I think that he has a very large following, and it doesn't matter what kind of angle I go at it from. I've tried really hard to like him, and I just don't. I don't like Game of Thrones. I don't like the book. I don't like the TV show. I've listened to some podcasts with him talking about writing and stuff, and I don't particularly like them. I just can't. It's probably a genre thing again, a genre blockade, that I don't like the type of genre that he writes in, therefore I don't like him and what he writes. But yeah, I can't get into him. I've tried really hard, and I just can't do it. Next is a popular book trope that you're really sick of seeing. This one, for sure, 100%, is the girl that is defined by her quirky interests. Again, another big thing in YA is a female character who is she's different. She's lovable because she likes Russian literature, and she has a favorite obscure band, and she likes the color, I don't know, fucking white or something. I don't know. These girls with like 3 quirky interests, and that defines their entire personality. And especially if it's a book written from a male perspective, and it just like focuses on these weird little quirks about her that don't really matter and have nothing to do with her actual personality. And I just find that just flattens out the entire book, because if I have to hear about her interest in obscure literature one more time, I am going to vomit and burn this book forever. And I find that is just so present in a lot of literature, and I just hate it. I hate it. So, if you're gonna hate me, it's gonna be because of what I'm about to say. I don't know how to bring this up, but the next question is a series that you have no interest in reading. And this wasn't hard for me at all. But it'll be hard for you, because I haven't met a single person with this same thought about these books. And that is the Harry Potter series. I don't know. I never read them as a child. They were never read to me. I think that has a lot to do with why a lot of people find them so important to their lives, is that it was such a big part of their childhood, but it just wasn't for me. Harry Potter just was not present at all for me in my childhood. I have never read a single Harry Potter book. I've seen all the movies. I'm not like, I don't know, I'll sit and watch one and I'll enjoy it, but I'm not like, wow, that really made me want to read a book, or yeah, I love that movie. That's a good one. I don't know. I have my best friend, Jada, is like, it's her livelihood. Her soul is composed of Harry Potter. She still accepts me. So please don't hate me. I just have no interest in reading it. I mean, you can write me an essay about how awesome it is, and I still probably won't be that interested in it at all. The Series of Unfortunate Events was probably my replacement for Harry Potter. Those were read to me. I was obsessed with those. I pre-ordered those. I waited in extreme lineups outside of Chapters when the new ones came out. So that was like my replacement for Harry Potter, but it was never in my life, really. I don't even own a single Harry Potter book. I don't think my husband's read them either. So I don't know. I just can't have interest in them. I've tried. I've been like, Sarah, you should read those. That's like the pinnacle of English literature. But nah, I just don't feel like it. I just have no interest in them whatsoever. So putting all that hatred aside that you now have for me, let's go to the last question, which is, which TV or movie adaptation do you enjoy better than the book? And this one is, boom, simple, so easy for me, and that is The Vampire Diaries. In case you didn't know, The Vampire Diaries are by some initial. I think her initial's LJ Smith, I believe. I liked them a lot when I was a kid. I think they're pretty old. I enjoyed them, but I mean, it's nothing in comparison to how obsessed I am with the show The Vampire Diaries. I mean, it's just like, whew, completely surpassed the amount that I like the Vampire Diary novels. It's unreal. Like, I am deeply obsessed with The Vampire Diaries. And it's not something that I would usually like. I mean, I don't really watch too many TV series. There's like 4 or 5 that I really like, and they're like 6 Feet Under and like Dexter and True Blood. So Vampire Diaries doesn't really fit in there, but I am obsessed with it. And I think they're so much better than the novels, even though the novels are so completely different. And like in the novels, Elena's like blonde and pale and has like green eyes, I think. So everything is just different. It's just like the basis that's kind of the same, and a few of like the happenings. But overall, I think it is a much better TV show than it is a book. So my beautiful, wonderful, exquisite friends, if you don't hate me, I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. As always, you can contact me on Goodreads, Twitter, and Tumblr. I will leave the links down below. Yeah, please refrain from commenting how much I need to read Harry Potter, because I just don't want to. I just don't have, I genuinely, this isn't like a rebellious, like, fuck the mainstream, I don't want to read Harry Potter because everyone likes Harry Potter. I just generally don't have an interest in it. So please don't harass me. I would really appreciate that. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you share any of the unpopular opinions that I have with me so that I don't feel like a complete asshole. That would be nice. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.